Today is story time. I want to tell you about what it was like in my first 365 days of vibe coding and take you on the journey from the very first moment I made the decision that I want to build real products without the help of a CTO, what consequences that had, my frustrations, the tools I used in a way that I think can accelerate your own journey. Let's dig in. As always, you can just read this with me, you can watch it on YouTube, or you can now listen to it on our podcast. So enjoy it however you like. I remember Christmas 2024 like it was yesterday. It was essentially day zero of my journey. It's the time when O3 came out, and I already picked up the habit of always talking through my business strategies with ChatGPT. But O3 was different because the first time I felt like when I was playing against a good chess player, when you kind of feel like the mental pushback because you feel someone strong is on the other side, as opposed to just someone complying to your strategy. I know AI is still willing to tell you you're the greatest at any time, but that was the time when I actually told it, challenge my assumptions, make improvements, way would you optimize, that I got to a state where I really felt, okay, this strategy I made for 2025, that heavily involved becoming a builder myself, I maybe could have gotten to 75% of that quality. But O3 really brought that extra 25 to it and some nuances, and also gave me the confidence that I could pick up a skill that I had never picked up in my 15 years as a founder. I know everyone said, just Ben, learn to code. And I never listened. I tried a few times, but my everyday business life just took over every time. I gave up on Python. I gave up on learning a bit of Swift for mobile apps. So I was always in the role of the growth marketer. Yeah, I was the founder or co-founder of the last 15 years. I was a pretty technical marketer, but I couldn't really write sensible lines of code without any copy and pasting. What I understood was building funnels, building positioning, content marketing, performance marketing, and my favorite, analytics. But that created a lot of dependencies. I was always dependent on having a technical co-founder or an investor allowing me to hire technical people to realize my own idea. And I think you know how hard it is to wait for that CTO to show up, how to spend the money on agencies, burn through the budgets, and just this daily and weekly sitting together with technical coworkers, agencies, freelancers, just sucked all of the lifeblood out of me. Everything took so long. And the linchpin was really when I was building for around 6 months with 3 friends, 2 technical people in there, on an AI enrichment SaaS that totally hit my sweet spot of marketing and sales knowledge and putting that into a SaaS. And we had a really technical CTO, but still 6 months in the project, I had nothing to show for it. The landing page was still 3 months old that we shoot it out within a week. We were doing sales more than marketing, and I just didn't have the confidence that this product would ever materialize. Yeah. So as a group, we decided, nope, we're not going to continue that project. So I said, I need to be good enough in building product to at least take it to the first 10K monthly recurring revenue, the point where I could hire somebody that would improve the technical parts. I was very illiterate at that point in the journey. That was the beginning of January, end of December. And so I thought, how can I set myself a little challenge? And this is what I recommend to you. What can I build? What can I launch? That is a real SaaS with 1 happy subscriber on my birthday, which is March 29th. So pretty much 1 quarter. That was an excellent choice in hindsight. Today, it would roughly take me 3 days, what took me then 3 months. But giving yourself a couple of weeks, but not too much, to build something that a user can actually hold in their hands is really, that was an excellent choice that I can highly recommend repeating. So 3 months, I learned the basics. I built something. I launched it. I even convinced 7 people, to join, and that just blew my mind. So you probably recognize some of the things that might hold you back in your journey of being a successful builder. So I'm really curious, like what is driving you towards vibe coding? Is it turning your own idea into reality? That was definitely a big one for me. I wanted to stop burning money and having dependencies on investors for agencies and freelancers who never really got my idea. 100% moving faster was something that I didn't expect to happen in the beginning, but I thought me being responsible for both growth and building would kind of misdirect me. But the opposite happened. It's just so much faster if you are the sole decision maker and you can just fully integrate building a piece of value for your customers and communicating it on the growth side. So, my tendency to want to escape dependencies for technical co-founders and investors was a huge thing. It wasn't too much like building a skill for my career, but I knew if I picked up building, I would become one of those unicorns that Naval was describing, a person who can actually build the product and sell it. Yeah, and I'm a pirate. I love my freedom. I want to be able to do this on the side and do that. So for me, it was a lot of things. I'm curious, what are the maybe 1, 2, 3 top things for you? I would say the top thing was escaping dependency, building freedom on the side, and then really turning my own ideas into reality. Yeah, those are the top things for me. I'm very curious what it is for you. So in Q1, I started screaming at my MacBook a lot more than I used to. Trust me, it was a frustrating experience getting into that. And every time I do another batch in the Builder Forge where we teach people how to go through this madness, I see this initial week 2, 3 of frustration. And I'm so glad it's just like the first 3 weeks usually. For me, it was 3 months. I even hired a friend of mine who is a senior developer called Ognan. And he really took me through this journey, helped me to refine the tech stack that I made out with O3, refined it, helped me debugging. I was so crazy naive in how I approached this process. And there was still very little information on YouTube at the very beginning. It very quickly picked up, and I'll share my favorite ones, YouTube channels in a second. But he just showed me some basic debugging workflows that all developers understand. Like you can type in TSC to see all TypeScript errors, or npm run lint to see all lint errors and warnings. And that helped my workflow in actually producing something that I could publish in infinite amount. Yeah, and it's stupid how we non-developers are kind of like experiencing and learning everything developers went through the last 30 years. But whenever I try to get like a vibe coding tutorial from a developer, none of this stuff was explained. Yeah, so I had to go through the frustration, find out the hacks, and start seeing this whole journey from the non-developer perspective. And even until today, this debugging workflow lesson, that came out of that in the Builder Codex is one of the most visited pages on pirateskills.com. So if you are having troubles with bugs, then enjoy that lesson. So Q1 was also the time when I really went on an information binge. I'm like a sponge when I get into a new hobby like photography, videography, vibe coding, design. I spend hours every day, mostly on YouTube, which is my most important learning environment, and just absorbed all of these concepts. I didn't spend time learning line by line code, like with a coding tutorial. I tried and failed with that in the past. So I spent time learning the concepts behind that. How do I think about using a database? How do I structure tables? How do I authenticate my users? What are they allowed to do? What not? How do I process payments? It's not about learning the line-by-line code. It's about learning the software development basics that developers have been learning for the past 30 years, as I said. And those 6 channels here are actually my favorites. AI Jason was there from the very beginning, not building hype content, but actual high quality things that he built with AI. But he is definitely a developer, but he gave me this first perspective of, geez, what is possible? Then one that joined pretty late was Every with Dan Schipper, but he is the best like non-developer being able to philosophize about how this changes AI native companies, and he's literally doing it. Yeah, and he is very much like me. But further along, thinking how can a single person be responsible for one product, having all of the responsibility, shipping that, but also building that into a bigger portfolio. Very awesome. Then I use Supabase for my database, and they have an excellent educational channel that I can recommend to everyone. The host is hilarious. And I learned so many things, not just the product stuff from Supabase, and it was incredibly helpful. Then the 2 guys from Syntax, great podcast hosts, Wes Boss and Scott. And they have long-form discussions, definitely also from the developer perspective, but it really helped me understand the culture of the developer community and how they discovered AI and AI-assisted coding. Theo also built a very similar product like the Captain chat, which is called T3 Chat, if you want to check it out, where you can choose your model and then have a pretty good experience. I would say it's even better than ChatGPT at this point, maybe minus features like deep research. And those were pretty much the same struggles that I had when I built my first SaaS, which I'll talk about in a second. But a lot of the developer mindset went from there. Then Lee Robb used to work at Vercel, which is where I'm hosting my code, my software. And he moved on to Cursor, which is the primary IDE. I used throughout 2025. He is just the most relaxed and best explainer on all of these topics, not shrinking back from explaining something complicated, in depth. Highly recommend his personal channel and his Vercel videos, and now the Cursor videos by him. I've created a list of 18 channels so far. I'll keep expanding, and I'm looking forward to your recommendations. Please let me know in the comments which are your most favorite YouTube channels, podcasts, blogs, whatever, that we can build a resource. Yeah, let me show you how that looks like. So here you have a list of the ones I already mentioned, but many more. Dive Club is the best in designing. Primeagen, if you want to go into the mess that the developer culture is. Vercel, yeah, for building AI agents. BetterStack is pretty broad. Y Combinator and Root Access for the startup perspective and what that means for finding investors and how fast the new batches really adopt AI. And just check these out. Absolutely wonderful YouTube channels that accompanied me in this phase. Have fun. But I don't want to hide the ugly stuff. Yeah, I started experimenting very early with a tool called V0, which was also from Vercel. It's like a little one of those AI playgrounds like Lovable and Bold. I'm sure they're going to grow into their own and abstract away all of the coding. But I quickly moved to Cursor, and I really picked up from the community that if you want to build something that you can later really maintain and scale and have a very likely chance not to hit a brick wall when you hit a certain complexity threshold, you have to move to something that is a bit more technical. For me, that was Cursor, but it doesn't matter which one you use, like Windsurf, Cursor, Claude Code, they are the dominant ones. And yeah, let me just tell you like what the frustration was like, yeah, and why this chapter is called Screaming at My Machine. For the first 6 months, I screamed and shouted at the AI. I cursed at it. It even picked up my foul language. It was constantly broken. And yeah, as always, it turns out it was mostly a skill issue on my end. I couldn't prompt. I didn't understand the technical architecture behind the project, so I couldn't guide the AI in the right direction. My partner, Christina, she really suffered under my bad mood. So thank you very much, my love, for sticking with me through this rough time. And at the turning point, I stopped blaming the AI and just started learning what is necessary in order to develop good software. Yeah, we get around learning line-by-line code. We do not get around learning solid software development principles. Yeah, and it goes way beyond just the tech. It's product management, it's marketing, it's everything. Yeah, so that's going to stay relevant. And AI is going to keep on picking up and helping us. But I went through this shit, and on my birthday, March 29th, that was my 43rd birthday, I had my goal of 1 happy paying customer, and I was rewarded with 7. 7 doesn't sound a lot, but it felt like my whole world changed. Yeah, this product that I had in mind was called the Captain. It was something like ChatGPT, but you could switch if you want to chat with Chat, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude. I wanted to be able to have all of my business context statically and then just choose whichever model is the biggest and the baddest at the moment. Yeah, and I built this, and other people used it, and some of them paid for it. It was insane getting that first feeling, being the guy that always was just the marketer, and now having built something that resembles something like monthly recurring revenue. Yeah, it's a real game changer, and get yourself a very simple challenge like that, and do it for yourself, and see where this story leads you. Q2 was all about building a tribe of people I could learn with. After launching the Captain, something really unexpected happened. I decided to move my whole tech stack, which was always like WordPress. Yeah, for the last 12 years before that, I had over a dozen WordPress websites, completely to Next.js. Essentially the same code base that the Captain was in. And now everything that you see, everything on pirateskills.com is just a completely custom coded web app that you can experience, that went so far beyond what I could do before with just WordPress in terms of design, functionality, and all the good stuff. And then I felt that was probably like in April, May, that my marketing brain merged with my product brain. And for 15 years, I was so focused on treating those two disciplines separately. One person builds the product, one person sells the product. And the only reason that was true was it was incredibly hard to find somebody who could actually do both. And so I found a new rhythm for myself. I had this mantra called build, grow, repeat. Yeah, from then on. It wasn't on the website then yet. The website was still very much on mastering the art and science of growth marketing. Yeah, my main community was building a growth marketing community. And at this point, I realized I needed to talk to more people. So I talked a lot to developer friends, like I mentioned, to Ogden, But I needed the people from the non-developer side as well. So Christina and we decided, let's launch again an offline meetup. We had essentially almost like 9 years of experience under our belt of hosting monthly meetups. COVID ensured that we went hybrid with that. But we missed the time when we were actually talking to people in person. So we decided, let's go back to our old co-working home, the Startplatz. We always had great support from the Graf family, especially Lorenz and his 3 sons. Helped us out again, let us host the Vibe Coding Cologne meetup for free there. Big thanks for that. And we also created like a WhatsApp group, and this was a little experiment. I was still on a community platform called Circle, but the community engagement just wasn't what I wanted it to be. So I thought, hey, come on, for this little vibe coding thing, we can create a WhatsApp group and see how that turns out. Turns out now that we have over 500 members in the WhatsApp group, that there was so much need for people to just talk about all of this shit. Oh, a new model launch. Have you seen this video? There was a new podcast that you should listen to. Have you tried this vibe coding method yet? Insane. Yeah. Marketers, AI operators that try to optimize and automate their business, and developers all came together in this community called Vibe Coding Cologne and exchanged what is currently working right now. And that really elevated the entire group. But I learned so much from them. And you're very much invited in joining this WhatsApp group. And if you're in Cologne, then also come to the events. But this link here lets you get into the group as well. So I'm so thankful for this group. Yeah, you can't imagine. I learned so many things just to share one very impactful thing. It's the discovery of MCP servers. I watched this on YouTube, but then at the meetup, I saw people doing magic in front of their eyes. All of them, including me, switched very soon to voice to text for any type of text input with the code editors that we used, or writing emails or WhatsApps. I use Whisperflow. Many others also use Super Whisper. But they gave the AI like arms and hands to work, and those were called MCP servers that allowed the AI to not only work within your code base, but also within external tools. So here are some of my favorites. We have the Superbase MCP that allows me to talk to my database. Yeah. Reading the database, gently also writing into the database sometimes, but changing it, adding new tables was now much easier than before. Then I love the linear MCP. I'm a pretty organized person, so I love to have like a Kanban board with my current projects and tasks in there. And I just talk with my voice with Cursor or Claude Code. That talks to the linear MCP, and everything is beautifully set up. I'll show that in a future video for sure. Then I'm an analytics guy, so post-hoc analytics to the rescue, completely respacing everything that I did before with Google Analytics, setting up events, A/B testing, session replays, amazing analytics experience. And I just had to talk. And I got every single custom event that I begged developers for weeks to implement, and half of the time it never made it because it wasn't a high priority. Yeah, now I get to do that shit myself. And it only takes 5 minutes. Yeah, it's not like I need to spend a half day on that. Then payment. The thing that I was most afraid of, to be honest, because you're handling credit card data from your customers, and what happens if a payment bounces, and if people get access to the product but they didn't actually pay for it. I was worried about that. So things like the Stripe MCP server helped me set up products, set up the Stripe environment, discount codes, revenue analysis, and all of that good stuff. Having me test everything, that things are decently secure and I don't get too abused. Then next, the GitHub MCP. You quickly learn, if you vibe code, that all of your code lives in something called Git, in a repository, and there's a platform called GitHub where most people store their code. It's the way to save the current state of your code and collaborate with other people. And managing all of that can be pretty technical, not anymore with the GitHub MCP server where you just talk and it commits and merges and creates branches and all the good stuff for you. Then I'm a business guy, so I developed a lot of processes and know-how about my company. I had all this in Notion. So there's the Notion MCP, which now lets my code base interact with the business knowledge. And over time, I noticed that more and more of that business knowledge actually moved into the code base. But for a long time, Notion was the go-to place where I stored everything, where non-technical people like Christina and my team are accessing it, more easily. These days, I'm just forcing people like Christina to become technical enough to also work with me in the same code base, which is a lot of fun to see. All right, let's continue. Q3 was when the madness started to stop. When I could suddenly see the matrix a bit better. I could turn chaos into systems. Maybe the AI models got better, but I also believe that I got a little bit better in handling them. And this is when I suddenly started to see, this was my past journey in January. These were the reasons for my frustrations. I was looking back, I was so impressed that I built the captain, with the little knowledge that I had. I hope it gives you hope as well, that you can build something even if you don't think you can do it. Just try it. It's amazing. And I could see the path where I currently am. I could start seeing where things are going. So, but I don't want to say it was easy. It was just that my ability to start to codify some of the knowledge into system really made everything simpler. All of my life, I have used one simple trick to learn at a much deeper level, which is teaching others. As a student, I was a tutor in my university. I gave tutorials. And now I'm teaching growth marketing with pirate skills and now vibe coding. But this felt different because it was such a big skill to wrap around. And it already took me 6 months to get where we are. And I was thinking, how the hell do I now create a new app every quarter? That was kind of what is my logic for building one app after another, one app a quarter. So I wanted to build myself a guide to do that. And I had the idea, why do I not do that with the Vibe Coding Cologne community? So we built the Builder Codex, where I codified all of the learnings into a 6-step structure for setting up any new app. I had people like Ognen and Gero, who are senior developers, looking over it, see that it's decently secure and that the guides are actually working. But so many non-technical people also gave me feedback on the Builder Codex, which is completely freely accessible for you. And to improve the non-developer perspective, I had it, but I already noticed that I was speaking a language that people not native to this were not familiar with with that. And so we really improved over time the Builder Codex and developed a resource that helped me understand, how do I set this up? Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, payment, done, let's launch and focus on growing. So I started to have the itch to build the next project. The captain was kind of like my first starter thing, but the audience response was like, oh no, we are just going to continue using ChatGPT. So I have another plan for the Captain 2.0 that I'm going to reveal soon. But I thought what I need now is a project journal for all of my ideas, and I called it the signal log. I wanted the simple voice to text interface where I could just keep all of my product ideas for multiple products, but also deep for a single product, like in a journal. And so I thought, like, how could we do this maybe together with a community? So I set up a first little weekly group, which was the pilot of what we now call the Growth Forge. There were like 30, 40 people because so many people were interested, and we all built our own version of the signal log. I kind of guided everyone through the 6 steps process in the builder Codex, and I built the signal log for myself. I'm never worried about clones of my product. I also wanted to have a project that I didn't take too serious, where I could also now apply my build and growth merge brain here. And I wanted to have a real example for whatever I'm teaching. So this group of people really helped me refine the whole process. It was the first iteration, and that turned later into the program that we call the Builder Forge, like 6 weeks where you learn all the madness that I took like 6 months to get to, or maybe even a year. And this is now live, running every quarter if you want to check it out. But this quarter really consolidated a lot of my knowledge and made me ready for the next step. In Q4, I realized that the pendulum had swung way too hard in the direction of just focusing to build, and it needed to move back more towards like building and growing. I had 15 years as a growth marketer that I was not yet fully enabling with this AI madness. So I do what I always do. I codify everything. I had a fully written handbook for all of my growth marketing workshops. I took everything, put it into what is now called the Growth Codex. This is also a freely accessible resource. You just click on it. And this is my codified growth system. Yeah. And I looked back and I was like, dude, your thought in Q2 with this build, grow, repeat loop, that is way better than I initially thought. And this is what I focused on. Every week I tried to build something, talk about it, build something, talk about it, see if it attracts an audience, see if it attracts real paying users that are gonna stay around and not churn away. So my little fledgling SaaS empire also had a price. Yeah, and I want to show you that. I thought this was fun. This is actually a visualization of my cursor invoices over the last year. Yeah, from January 2025, where I spent $20. Then I started to exceed that, use some additional credits. March was more. April, I got scared. I thought, shit, I'm spending $100 next year. Next month, I'm spending 200, and so on. I could see the trajectory, and I was scared. I held back. I was like, what if I can't afford this? What if this ruins me? Yeah, essentially. Maybe this AI train is not that hype, or it's just for rich people. And I get this sentiment so much in the vibe coding Cologne community, and even people who are in the workshops. People are scared to spend $20, $40, $60. So in May and June, I went through this phase where I very much put my spending back. I only used the cheap models, if at all. And then in July, I realized, Ben, are you stupid or something? Yeah. You need to double down. You need to stop holding yourself back. This is got to be the future of things are done. Don't miss out on this. And I started like switching from the $20 tier to the $60 tier. I still used some extra credits, and it went up and up. And in September, it was the first time when I was really going nuts. I started to embrace models like Claude Opus. And I realized, okay, I'm breaking the $200 a month anyway. So, hey, why not go to the $200 subscription? And in October, I just went full mayhem. I allowed myself to just spend and see how that affected. And AI went from just being this product development vertical thing to everything, completely horizontal, managing my financing, doing all of my content generation, everything I integrated into the code base of pirateskills.com. It had does still have complete knowledge about everything that I'm doing, everything that I'm posting. Everything is connected now. But I also realized, Ben, you can get smarter about using credits. Yeah, there's no need for anyone to pay really for the $200 subscription. Like you probably need the $60, not just the 20. But I wanted to fully embrace it. I just got smarter about using tokens in the last 2 months of the year. But you see the trajectory. Yeah, it's pretty clear. This is an expensive game. Cost me like $1,450 roughly over the year. Without any of the other AI tools I was testing in parallel. This was just Cursor, which was my dominant one. So that story happened. But really take this, fuck it, it doesn't matter. If you at any point can afford it, spending $10 a day or an hour is giving you wings. It's giving you superpowers. It's giving you literally at this point, I have worked with a lot of developer teams before, for all of my other startups. It feels like I have the equivalent of 3 pre-AI developers at my hands. And those would roughly cost me $500 a day. Yeah, or 15K over a month. That is a lot of dough. And spending 200, 300 bucks a month on an AI subscription, which gives you the ability at your fingertips to build those products yourself, which puts you into the seat of responsibility for sure. You now have to do it. You are less just managing the system and the entrepreneur that is not touching the operating work, which I believe is absolute bullshit advice. You are working at a speed that you wouldn't believe. Yeah, that was at least my experience. That before 2024, I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Why is society not progressing? And then the AI thing dropped, and I now feel like it's 2026. Yeah, and every day I'm realizing I may be using 25%, if at all, of the potential of the tools we already have, not even factoring in the stuff that is still coming in. Yeah, but if you're worried about spending too much, embrace tools like Cursor's Composer One, smart enough for most tasks, very fast, very cheap. Can highly recommend it. But Claude Opus 4.5, for the people who can afford it, absolutely feels like a different game changer. That was the point when I observed in the YouTube universe and with my developer friends that even if they were skeptical before, that changed their mind. They realized this game had truly changed. They are at a different level when they're using Claude Code. And I see them working less and less on line-by-line code, but spending much more time in code review and in the planning process. Yeah, and I think this is where it's going. So recently, I made the switch to Claude Code. This is my January experiment. The $200 subscription at Cursor also feels crazy to me. Yeah, I'm sure it does for you as well. So there's a $90 subscription for Claude Code Max. And I hope that is going to be enough to get like $400 or $500 of credits worth out of Claude Code. I'll still keep the $20 Cursor subscription because I love working in this Cursor environment, and I just have Claude Code on top of that. So that is my journey. Yeah, 365 days I can now build stuff. that I couldn't have imagined doing before. I'm still learning a lot of the fundamentals, software development. I believe there's going to be still a journey where I need to go through the junior phase. Yeah, like everyone has, to build the confidence and the experience to go anywhere near senior level. But I ship. I ship every week, and I think this is truly what matters. In the workshops, I sometimes get asked like, hey, Ben, tell me what you would tell yourself on day one. And here it is. If I could back to Christmas 2024, talking to O3, I would do the following things faster. First, I absolutely wouldn't mind hiring a mentor, even for a few hours. Working with Ogden was just gold. Yeah, accelerating my learning curve. But do yourself a favor. Do not ask a developer. Yeah, if you're a non-technical person, their ability to break it down to you for you as a non-developer is pretty much not existent. Talk to somebody who went through this, and you can find a lot of those people in the community. Number 2, don't get in the playground tool trap. As I said, V0, lovable, bold, all good. They will grow into it. And if you are a person that never intends to ship code, but just communicate better, maybe with your developer team, perfect, stay there. But if you intend to build something that you really hand over and have other users use Cursor. It will also break your fear of the terminal, which is by far the most powerful tool on your machine, but that all non-developers are afraid of, and it's the favorite place of all senior developers. And that is your entry level to Claude Code. Yeah, this is where you want to go. Cursor, later Claude Code. Then, number 3, expect frustrations. It's a skill issue. Yeah, it's one of the hardest skills to learn. There is a reason why developers earn so much money. Yeah, I blamed AI for months. The real problem was that I didn't have the skill to communicate and prompt AI properly, and I had to learn the fundamentals underneath. Yeah, so expect the frustration, go through it. The reward on the other side is 100% worth it. Number 4, ship something real, even if it's small. Think of something that is useful to you, that you could build for yourself, for your internal team. Then go forward and build something that other people can use, where you can have your first paying customers. Make it very consciously, very small. Don't build your big idea. Just take something that is real. Nothing will teach you more than that. It will break you out of whatever courses you're maybe taking and force you into learning things in the real world. Yeah, and how to research when you hit the inevitable frustrations that I mentioned before. And of course, I had so much more speed because I joined a community, and conversation with other people open up your mind that this is the new normal now. Thinking AI first when you're doing pretty much any task really took me a while until I talked to other people who also looked like left and right. Is this okay if we do this now this way? Is this not lazy? And you build this tribe of people who know that are just as crazy as you are. So if you want to join the Vibe Coders here, join us on WhatsApp, join any of the events that you like. We would love to have you in the community. I hope you enjoyed this story, but I also want to tell you like what you can do next. It took me 365 days of fumbling, frustration, of figuring all of this out. And we built this Builder Forge and Growth Forge for a reason. It essentially condenses the whole vibe coding learning experience in the Builder Forge to 6 weeks. And then really you have a product at the end of this. You know how to build a SaaS. And then in the Growth Forge, you learn how to grow that new SaaS business. And if you're interested in that, I'll send a link here to the article at the bottom. There's going to be a quiz. You can figure out if this is something for you. I don't want to pitch this too hard, but I feel this needs to be said. This is something awesome. Yeah, and I want you on this side of the group. People who are not scared of AI, but who are embracing it, who are growing wings on it. And I hope I shared the frustration to balance out a little bit of the elation that I have with this. Call me overly enthusiastic. But this is the world we now live in. Yeah? Join the good side. See you there. Bye.